Clean they like riding, but I know that they ain't. Ride or die. I go hard in the paint, yeah, homie, I'm a saint. Ride or die.
It because that's half the battle. Once you admit it, then you can conquer that fear.
Boy, I'm glad I've gone that far.
We're here to help.
Yeah, so what's next?
I don't know.
Why are you an atheist, sir?
I'm an
Yeah. Well,
atheist.
you can bring. You know what? Bring up any topic you want. I guess. Go ahead. Sorry.
I could answer that question. Why am I an atheist? Well, I'm an atheist because I haven't seen any evidence for a God. I mean, put simply, that's about it.
What would count as evidence for you?
That's a very good question. I really can't answer it. I don't know.
Hmm. Okay. So, if you can't answer that question, wouldn't it be fair to say it would be difficult for me to know how to pursue this conversation if you yourself wouldn't know what would qualify as evidence?
Yeah, I don't mean any offense, but I would think it arrogant to think you could A, know God yourself, and B, convince somebody else.
Well, I certainly couldn't convince you because um, you don't have a standard for being convinced one way or another. So, yeah, it would probably be very difficult to even have a conversation on the topic.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a difficult topic. How you came to the conclusion there is a God is probably something that has more substance to it, right? I mean, I could tell you the story about how I studied and searched and seeked and on my knees and sweating blood, metaphorically, that kind of thing, intense worship and all that. I was there, till I was 23. Then I started actually examining scripture, really trying to get things right, and I realized that nobody does that. It's not really even possible.
What scripture? The Bible? Did you come from a Christian background?
Yeah, that's where I started.
And
Okay.
just to test your knowledge level, it's not like I got you. What is the fifth book in the New Testament?
Jeez, I haven't thought of the Bible in such a way since I was a Christian. Let's see, Genesis, Exodus,
In the New
Leviticus.
Testament?
I'm sorry?
In the New Testament?
Oh, in the New Testament?
Hmm.
Let's see, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember, dude. Why does that
That's okay.
even like?
So what
why
what
why
that
would you
does
want to
is
know if I could go through the table of contents of the Bible? Like, what
so what that
difference does that
shows
make?
me is like majority of people who are actively studying the Bible would know that it's the book of Acts.
No.
And like I said, it's not a got ya. But what it is it's just a way for me to
Yeah,
see
I was
like
going to
you
say it, but I
are
didn't want to.
familiar with
I
it.
was going to show that a Muslim knew it, but I didn't want to do that. James,
Yeah,
it's
but
actually funny
I'm
you did
totally
that. I
unimpressed.
hold on, Chris. I just wanted to say something. It's funny that you did that. Not because I'm mocking Chris, but I was actually thinking of doing it with the lady Anna, who's an ex-Muslim, because I'm also extremely skeptical of that. But I just didn't do it. I didn't pursue it because this is your room. But I'm highly suspect that she would have been able to answer some very basic questions.
I mean, I could do the same to you and catch you on a few things you don't know, and we could all like have a party about that. But I don't see the point. I think,
Well, no, look. Like I said, it wasn't a got you, but it just shows me where
nothing.
you are as far as digging into the Bible and
No,
studying at this particular moment.
no, it doesn't tell you anything about that.
I think it does. I think because it's majority of Christians who are just like even in school or not even in school or just Sunday school kids can tell you that Acts is the fifth book. Like this is just
So
seeing what it goes,
what?
but don't like I said, don't feel bad. I'm
I
not here
don't
to
feel
mock
bad.
you
I
over
feel
that.
bad for you that you think that tells you anything at all. You're clearly deluded.
I think it gives me because if you're going to start being hard about it, I think it's just going to be I'm going to have to be a little bit more forceful too. So what it does show me is that, like, maybe at one point you've studied the Bible, but you're
I'm
not
still
familiar with it
studying it.
enough to know something
Dude,
as
okay.
basic as what
Okay.
the fifth book of the New Testament is.
That's not a basic thing. It depends on how you look at the Bible.
It's not
Like
not a
if
basic
you
thing. The
It's
four
very
if
gospels
basic.
are
you think if
the
you
four
think
gospels are the most important thing
ugh,
in Christianity, and the Acts are the Acts of the Apostles that
that's
explain
subjective.
how the early church got developed. For
What's
you
the
to
most
not,
important is subjective.
Chris, it's a very basic. It's a very basic thing to know that Acts comes right after that, right after John.
It
It's pretty
doesn't
basic.
matter. It's completely irrelevant to whether or not there is a God.
That much is true, but it is relevant to the point that James is making.
No, it is not. It doesn't prove anything except for I don't know the order in which the books come. That's it. That's all you learn from that. I don't care about that. I will not go caring about that tomorrow because you brought this up. It's irrelevant.
can you tell me what the theme is for the
Chris,
book of
Chris,
Galatians, Chris?
Jesus Christ.
Chris, do you know what? Are you a fan of a movie series? Do you like Star Wars?
Yeah, I do like Star Wars.
Could you tell me the order of the Star Wars movies?
Nope.
You can't.
Nope. Don't care.
Okay.
See, it
Maybe
depends
you
on how
just
you
don't
look at
retain
things.
too many things.
You're trying to judge me by how you look at the world. That's your problem. That's a problem of faithful people in general. So like I could ask you,
So now
who's this character in my profile picture? Do you know who that is?
I don't think I'm expected to know who that is. I'm
I
not
expect
claiming
you
to
to know.
be
If you are
knowledgeable on whatever is in that photo.
yeah, if you have really researched the origins of your religion, looked into where things come from, what it's really all about,
Oh,
you know
you're
who
one of
this
those
is.
people. Okay.
One of those
I
people
get where
who
you're coming
likes to
from
know
now.
where things come from, likes to understand
So
thoroughly. Yeah.
no, if you want to assume that a religion borrowed from another religion, correlation does not equal causation. That's one
What
thing that you
are
have to
you?
really stress to yourself.
Oh my God.
Correlation does not equal causation.
What are you talking about? I didn't present you with any
So
argument.
you could have an idea very similar to Christianity, Judaism, does not mean that the others influenced
Did
them.
are is the Christian God the same as the Old Testament God?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so I'm not doing anything what you're talking about. I'm just following that right there. That's it.
What? No, I think James understood you. I mean, Chris, do you think that by studying the origins of religions and what you think the anthropology tells you and all this kind of stuff, do you think that that's relevant to disproving any of the particular religions and showing that they're not true?
It is certainly a lot more relevant than what's the fifth book of the New Testament.
Okay, so then, yeah, then you were doing what James was thinking you were
No,
doing. And to explain, yeah, to explain,
no,
you think that by explaining the origin of a particular belief and the way in which it supposedly arose, that that somehow says anything about the truth value of said belief, that's just to commit the genetic fallacy, which
no.
states that by explaining, yes, it is, to
See, you haven't
explain
heard me lay out an
merely
argument.
how
You're
let
making
me finish, Chris.
why?
Let me finish.
You're
I
putting
didn't
words in
interrupt
my
you, did
mouth.
I no, because I just asked you and that's what you
Let Jake
said.
finish
No,
real quick, and
that's
then
not
you
what
can
I
go.
said.
Yeah, just let me
Let
get to
Jake
the
finish.
punchline, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm almost
Keep
there. Trust
going.
me. Just give me two more sentences to merely explain the way in which a belief uh, arose, or to explain how something came about, says nothing about whether or not the belief is true. And to say or base a position on that is just to commit the genetic fallacy.
Yeah. So it does have weight. It does speak to whether it's true or not. It's silly to say it doesn't, but there's more to it than that. You're acting like that's the only thing I've got in mind. You don't know what my argument is. You haven't heard anything. You have and you will continue to interrupt me and ask stupid questions that are irrelevant and not actually really get to issues. You guys are not interested in this conversation you're pretending to want to have.
Chris,
It
I haven't
really,
interrupted you. I haven't interrupted you a single time. Why would you accuse me of that? Why would you say that I'm going to interrupt you? I
Yeah.
didn't interrupt you.
Have I laid out an argument yet?
You hinted at a few arguments, and just
Have
now
I
you
laid out
just
an
said,
argument yet? Have I even begun?
look, if you want
I don't
to,
think
if
so.
you
I don't
want
think
to
you're
lay out an
capable of it, but you just said, but
I
hold
don't
on,
think
James.
I'm capable of it.
He did just say, no, I don't, because
You're
you
a
did
silly
just
guy.
say that it is, you did just say that it is relevant to whether or not a belief is
It
true.
is.
And I'm saying that is just
No,
a case in point. Who's the one that's interrupting, sir? You've interrupted me several
that's
times
interjection.
by saying no, 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 no. Okay, so it seems like you like a little bit trigger happy. Now, let me just finish. The very definition of a genetic fallacy is accepting or rejecting a claim based on its origin instead of judging it by its
Right. And
merits.
I
And that's
wouldn't
what
do
you're
that.
doing.
No,
You
no,
that's exactly what
no,
you just did. You
no,
just said that by
no.
explaining the origin of a belief that it is relevant to the truth
Yes.
value of said belief.
See,
And
you're
it's
saying two
not.
different
You
things
just said
and
yeah.
acting. No, listen, you're saying two different things and acting like they're the same. Now, it
They
is
are the same.
relevant. Can you listen to me? It is relevant to whether or not the claim is true, but it may not be enough. We may need more. And I think we do need more. And there's more to be examined. But you're pretending like I'm leaning on this one, quote, genetic fallacy, which is a fallacy of its own. It's called a straw man. I didn't say that.
You just said that it is relevant to it, even if
Yes,
it
it
doesn't
is
partially disprove
relevant.
something.
It does
It
not
isn't. It
on
holds
its own.
absolutely no weight. Holds absolutely no weight. And again, you're interrupting me, sir. So you actually predicted that you were going to interrupt me instead of the other way
You did
around.
interrupt me too.
Accepting or rejecting a claim based on its origin instead of judging it by its merits is the genetic fallacy.
Okay,
By
are
saying
you
that
done
there's
saying
any
that over and
weight, let
over?
me finish. No, are you
You're
done
just gonna
interrupting
repeat
me?
yourself.
It seems like you have trouble muting your mic when somebody else is talking. I
Seems
don't know
like you
why.
have trouble like actually having a nuanced conversation. You just want to cut me
No,
off.
because you just said,
You never
sir,
interrupt. You never interrupt.
you just literally said, no, I'm interrupting you now after you've interrupted me about 10 times
Right.
since you've been on the stage. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. So
Now,
look,
the
the
point is,
argument you're laying out is not my argument. It's not.
listen,
No.
Chris, if you keep interrupting, this conversation isn't going to go
It's
anywhere.
not
You realize
going
that, right?
anywhere. You have halted it from the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah, because you came on stage and James was trying to discuss with you politely. You got a little bit anxious and started getting aggressive.
Oh, give
And
it a
now we
break.
are responding. Yeah, and now we're responding accordingly after you interrupted like 10
You're
times.
responding
And then
like
you
someone who
complained about
doesn't
interrupting.
actually want to talk about the issues.
No, I'm trying to tell you why what you said is a
Yeah,
genetic fallacy.
repeating
To
it.
claim that there's any
Oh boy,
relevance, to
here we
claim
go
that there
again.
is any relevance about the truthfulness or the validity of a claim based on explaining its origins is a mistake and commits a genetic fallacy. Do you understand that, sir?
Do you want to repeat it maybe 20 more times? Maybe the 21st time will convince
Maybe
me.
until you get it, till you accept it, then we
It's
can move
not
on.
how it works for people with brains. You can do that with dummies all day long. Repeat, 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 and they believe, but I'm not going to do that.
Well, actually, dumb people do have brains too, so it's kind of like
Oh my
false
God.
dichotomy there,
Oh
sir.
my God. Irrelevant. All right, look. So this character in my
Look, Chris,
profile,
give us your best argument. How about that? Go ahead.
thanks. I appreciate that. Now zip it. So this character in my profile picture, his name is L. He's in your Bible. Okay, this is a Canaanite slash Hebrew god of a Canaanite slash Hebrew pantheon. It's all through the Old Testament. You can see very clearly the Hebrews are worshiping these gods. It is one of the names of the monotheistic God you currently believe in. Historically, he was called many different names, and you know this. Now, what was the first name? It was the name of an entire Canaanite pantheon, Elohim. That was the name given first when it says gods created the heavens and the earth. Then you see it use the word El as the name of God, and that is the father god, the original father god of the Canaanite pantheon. Later, we see Yahweh is used as the name of God, and Yahweh in the Canaanite pantheon is the son of El. They both shared a wife. Her name is Asherah. You'll see her image and Yahweh in the next picture I'll put up for my profile picture.
Just to be clear, Chris, I asked you for your best argument, so this is your best argument, right? Just want to be clear. Chris? James, are you there? Can I be heard?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was putting up this other picture. Now you can see Yahweh and his
Yeah,
Asherah.
Chris,
Look
did you
those
hear
words
my
up in the
question?
Bible. Yes, it was a dumb question. I haven't laid out the argument
Why,
yet. I'm
why,
educating you right now.
why is that a dumb
Because
question?
I obviously didn't lay out an argument, Muslim.
I'm asking you, or what you trying to get
You're
at now, wherever
interrupting.
you land, is this your best argument? That's why I just
This
want to be
is
clear.
an argument. I don't know that it's my best. It depends on your perspective. What the best argument
No,
to
I'm
help
asking on your
you
perspective.
understand reality is can't really be
I'm
known until
asking
I've
from
tried
your
and tried again.
perspective. From your perspective, is it the best?
It's a good argument. Yeah, it's a good argument to say, look, your gods were gods and it evolved. Your God evolved. That is not a real God. That's a mythological God. There's no
Okay, so
mistaking it.
so you're doing exactly what I said. You are committing the genetic fallacy.
No,
You're invalidating a belief based on explaining its supposed origins. That's
no,
exactly what you're
no.
doing.
This is the current usage still. You see, you're still using the same names. It's still in your books. It still refers to these gods.
Using the same name is irrelevant. You
No,
are
it's not.
invalidating a belief by explaining its supposed
Okay,
origins. That's what you're
so
doing.
you don't accept the argument for your ridiculous reason. I got it.
No,
That's
it's
the end
a
of this
genetic fallacy.
conversation.
It's literally
Now,
a fallacy.
okay, you're wrong. I
No, I'm
disagree,
not.
and
What is a
that's
genetic
where this.
fallacy, sir?
Okay, Muslim, but Muslim. Either
What is
way,
a genetic
this is where
fallacy?
this. That's where this lands. This is where this ends.
What is a
You
genetic
think it's a
fallacy,
genetic
sir?
fallacy? I don't think it's a genetic fallacy. I
What
tried to
is a
explain
genetic
that to you.
fallacy?
I tried to explain to you how it's not a genetic fallacy. You don't want to hear it.
I'm asking you, what is a
You already described what a
genetic
genetic
fallacy?
fallacy was, and I agreed.
Okay, so if you know what it is, then repeat it back. What is it?
I'm not interested in repeating. That's your job.
Because you don't know.
No,
You don't know what
you're,
it is.
it's, you know what? I'm not playing these test games with you. You guys are
Yeah,
silly. You're
because
silly, faithful
you're
people. You
gaslighting,
don't think
dude. You're
straight. You're sitting
gaslighting.
here
You're
you're
coming on
telling
stage
people,
and you're trying to
you're telling
gaslight
people that
people.
if you can catch me without getting something
No,
exactly right, that has nothing to
I'm
do
telling you,
with the
I'm
gods,
Chris, I'm telling you that your argument is fallacious
and
because it
I'm
commits
telling
the
you it's
genetic
not
fallacy.
Muslim,
Then you are
and that's
telling
where
me,
this
I'm not testing
lands.
you.
It's
I didn't ask you
over.
what I didn't, excuse me, sir.
This
I did not
argument
ask you what
is
I ate.
over.
I did, Chris, stop interrupting me. I did not ask you what I ate for lunch last Tuesday. And I did not ask you some random question that has nothing to do with the substance of the discussion. I claimed you presented an argument. I claimed that your argument is guilty of the genetic fallacy. Okay. Then you said, no, it's not. Then I asked you, what is the genetic fallacy? That's not a random quiz that is irrelevant to the discussion. It is a question to get at whether or not you can even say that this argument is not guilty of the genetic fallacy. For you to say that it's not, and then you don't even know what it is, you're just wasting time. I'm not asking you a random question that has nothing to do with the conversation. So
And
anyway, I
he,
don't know if you left or you booted
yeah,
me or
he,
what.
he left, but it was good for you to finish it.
I go hard in the paint, yeah, homie, I'm a saint. Ride or die.